Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Les Steed, and this is
Marlon White.
And this is Off Point at 30, a podcast where we discuss our tediously terrible lives. Now that we're 30, where life sort of goes a little off point, much like the discussions we end up having.
Where we got off point in topic and off point in life. Me and Leslie known each other for about roughly 9 years now.
10 years now.
10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met in Keele University,
which is on top of a hill in Stoke-on-Trent. And to be honest with you, Jesus Christ, it rains all the time.
It kind of remind me of Hogwarts.
Yeah, how is that Hogwarts? It's like shit Hogwarts.
Yeah, that's shit.
It's like we've got a manor house. Do you want to use it for university? Do I fuck? No, they don't want to use it for university. Sorry, I'm getting loud.
But they do play Quidditch though.
It's like, that's really weird. It's like, I don't know. I feel like Keele was a bit of a strange place because it's like, if you're going to be in, it was like, there was like 10,000 people. 2/3 of them were women when I started, because I was a couple of years older than you. So it's like,
Now we're the same age, you know.
Yeah, we are, but I started.
Yeah, you started,
yeah. So I think you had a gap year or something, didn't you?
No, I did. Well, you don't even want to know, but
don't. All right, kind of
long story.
Anyway, so in third year we ended up in the same.
Yeah, in your third year, my first year.
Yeah, in your first year, and then and so I kind of adopted him in a sort of Madonna-esque way.
Yeah,
because I was like, oh, he's my friend. Mm-hmm. And no, I think like the moment really was when Marlon got my you got my Facebook deleted.
Hold on. Let's reverse. I wanna go back to my actual first encounter with you because although me and Les lived together in the same accommodation, but I lived on the left hand side, but you lived on the right hand side. Came back one day, I walked over to your side, and I was talking to a mutual friend of ours. I was just having a nice conversation. Then next minute, this little guy just pops out of a room, and then he just looks at me, and I'm like, "What's this guy's problem?" Just stops everything. Like, I don't know if he dropped something out of his hands and everything. He just looks at me and goes, "Who is this big black guy?" Coming from like central London, like everybody just ignores race. Everybody like, when you go to describe somebody,
it kind of comes up.
He's a tall guy. He had big. You don't give a direct description of race. You kind of describe everything about him besides his race. Yeah, so you just like, who's this big black guy? And you just rushed over to me.
Give me a cuddle.
You're like, nice to meet you.
I was
like, you actually did say that. You actually did say that. You're like, give me a hug. And I was like, I didn't know how to react to you. I'm
very friendly.
I was
very foolish.
I've never been thrown off that badly in life.
I don't remember it that way. I mean, I
remember. You don't remember that.
I don't remember a lot of things at uni. I think there's a lot of blurry area that people tell me happened, and I'm just like, that does sound like something I would do, but also I am so sorry.
Yeah, and like that's what kind of struck me about you. You just don't have a filter, and I didn't take it that you're like racist or anything. I just like you saw something, you said it pretty much, and that's probably how a lot of people when they see me probably think in their head they're like. But they just kind of hide it, but you don't have the ability to hide it. You don't have any filter
really
to you.
Struggle with it.
Yeah.
Like,
so
actually, it is actually sort of. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a medical issue, but it does come with the territory.
Yeah.
And it's like it's been something that has kind of constantly been a problem, but also sort of a huge part of my personality. So it works really well socially. Well, it doesn't work well, but it can work quite well socially because it's like I think that. Yeah, I'm an honest bloke, but it's not. But I'm not sort of trying to be controversial. It's like I'm just an idiot. But also, but in a professional context, it's a pain in the dick.
So, do you actually have a problem? You think?
No. I mean,
social cues or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think that for me, it's. I mean, like I know that I have. I can't remember what it was called, but I don't know, some form of ADHD.
Yeah.
And it's like, which is obviously something you have to manage through life, but. I only got diagnosed last September, so it was about sort of 2 months ago. And before then, people just assumed that I was weird.
Yeah.
And which is a really difficult thing when you're trying to understand who you are, especially as you go through your 20s and your teens. And you're kind of always like the odd one, but it's because of that lack of a filter. And not just that, I mean, there's other attributes. I speak really fast, which did not go down well in Indonesia when I was a teacher. And like I think that it's part of the territory, but also I think that it is quite endearing in a way.
What kind of problems do you think that caused for you then?
I would say that it's predominantly, I think, when you're in a professional context. So I always found I find professional contexts quite difficult because I tend to be the same no matter where I am. And I think that when you're in that position, or when there's expectations of you that to behave in a certain way. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go around swearing in front of children, but, you know, I mean, not on purpose. But, you know, like, I think that if you're going to do, you know, if you're, I mean, because I worked as a journalist before, it's very difficult to sort of manage office etiquette, really.
Yeah.
And especially when part of the territory is that you feel a little bit more paranoid than most people as well.
I was just thinking about this story the other day, like, we had a housemate, I'll leave her nameless. One day, decided not to wear any knickers. And we all noticed that, and we were kind of like...
so awkward.
Yeah, we kind of like,
Yeah.
They were all kind of talking about it, and then I just remember you just going straight to her face. Love, go and put some knickers on. Go upstairs and put some knickers on.
Yeah, because it was weird for everyone else. Yeah. It was like, I mean, don't get me wrong.
We all said it, but you just said it directly to her face, and we all like, shit.
Yeah, because...
And that kind of
blatant honesty. I don't think I said it, for the record, I didn't say it in front of everyone, did I?
You said it right to her face in front of everybody.
I should have probably said it a bit more privately. But yeah, I think I'm not the most tactful of people.
That's what kind of strikes me about your person. You're just honest. You're brutally honest. You don't mean to be like nasty. Like, you don't have that filter.
It's not nasty either. Yeah. It's not like
it's not. You have no malice to it. It's just
it's not even. And I'm really polite normally. It's just kind of weird. It's like that lack of a filter is quite. And it's also a lack of sort of social awareness that a lot of people would normally have. And like those subtle body cues. Fuck me, I'm screwed.
Yeah,
I am totally fucked with that. It's but
I feel like
you have to be very upfront.
Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang.
I wouldn't go that far.
But I think you're on the spectrum. I think he's an extreme example.
I think he's got autism. Or something like that.
That's an extreme. But I think you're.
I'm not on that spectrum.
You're like
definitely not on that spectrum.
But you have a problem reading.
Reading social cues is difficult, and I think that I mean, I'll know.
But like, the thing that that's not like an insult saying that.
No, not at all.
There's levels to it. There's not like it's not like you're 100% or you're 0. There's in between. You can be 2%, you can be 3, 5.
I think 15. For me, it's like one of the things I've noticed is that when it comes to group situations, for example, talking now isn't an issue because I know you quite well, and then also, but I think that if there was like a 4th or 5th party, then I would try and what I do is peacock it. I will try and make everyone laugh. And then that makes me feel at ease, and then I withdraw from the situation. But actually, what I've done there is dominate a conversation for 5 minutes. Without letting anyone else have a go, and then I've put on the Leslie Steed show, and then I've retreated, and it's just I think that's quite difficult, really.
Do you like being the centre of attention? Then
I'm an extrovert, definitely. I'm quite excessively extroverted, but I think that sometimes
it's interesting that we even get along because I'm an introvert. I don't like people.
You know what weird thing is that most of my girlfriends and most of my ex-girlfriends. Sorry, I only have one girlfriend, but I end up dating, and some of my best friends are all introverts. I mean, I don't know if there's like a proportion of introvert to extrovert sort of style, because I think that I mean, we assume it's 50-50, but I don't think it actually is. And especially in and I think if anything, like today's culture is kind of showing that there's a lot more introversion than there is, and I think that also manifests in the loneliness crisis that people are having. Because you've got extroverts who are sort of like, let's go out, but actually most of the people who are around you are introverted, and in a village, that's fine. In a city, that's okay because there's a lot of people who are kind of, it's the same mindset. But when you end up with a very close-knit community, say like at university, those differences become very, very stark. And it's very difficult for somebody like me to understand. I mean, the entire concept of introversion was something I only really started learning about 5 years ago.
Yeah, the thing about being an introvert, people assume like, that means you have no social skills, you can't interact with people, you can't talk to people, but as I said, there's always a spectrum. There's not like that's an extreme example. People
I mean, just shut in or something like that.
Don't know how to talk to people. Just locked indoors.
It's like Danish humour. Just it's so lovely.
But there's a spectrum.
I adopt those people. I just come up as I like you. You can come with me.
I've had plenty of friends. I go out. I socialise with people. There's a spectrum to it. I'm an introvert. I like being by myself, but I can interact with people. I have personal skills. I can get along with people. So.
Do you find that there's any desire to be liked? For you?
I think everybody has the desire to be liked. Nobody wants to be disliked.
Yeah, but I mean, is it sort of like more of a sort of self-validation feel to it or not?
What do you mean?
Okay, so for me as an extrovert, I think that, I mean, like we almost live for the applause in a way, which is quite difficult in its own way, because you don't have that internal part of, I mean, no, you do. You have it, but you have to kind of train it. Whereas the instinctive way to feel validated, I think not that you would need to be validated, but for example, if I'm having a bad day, you know, I will call somebody. I will use social. You know, I will enjoy someone's company, or you know, something like that to make myself feel better. Whereas a lot of introverts will sit down and read a book. I mean, it's not to say that I don't read books, or you know, like, well, I don't, but that's not the point. I write them instead. No, but I you know, I watch videos and stuff, and I have a bit of me time. I do love a good, you know.
I think I know. Just like at one point in life, you just kind of learn to accept everything, and kind of learn to enjoy your own company, learn how to comfort your own self.
Have you ever been to a movie on your own?
Only once.
Only once.
Yeah,
Why
twice,
did you?
actually, twice.
What was the circumstances?
Well, I am a big fan of Dragon Ball Z. I don't. I'm a massive fan. That's like my favorite show of all time. Actually, that and The Wire. Those are two of my favorite shows. I fan out about that, and I kind of I watch it in Japanese. I watch it in fucking.
Wait,
English.
you watch The Wire in Japanese?
No,
Dragon Ball Z. Sorry.
Yeah, in Japanese. Yeah, so like Z, not Z.
Yeah, why is
so
it Z? I've never liked that.
I don't know. But anyway, I'm a big fan of it. I watch it like I've watched all the episodes multiple times. I'm currently watching it over again right now.
How many episodes are there? Like
hundreds.
Yeah. How do those animators just not be like, what are we going to make him do next? I don't know, blow some shit up.
Yeah, basically the strain on the pen, like they have to like week to week. Shit. That's why there's plot holes in it.
There's got to be plot holes. I mean, I think that it's like Simpsons where they just start filling it in.
Yeah, there's loads of plot holes. But anyway, I'm a big fan of it. So normally I'll go. I tend to only go to cinema with like my missus, or if I wasn't with my missus, if I was like single, I'd go on a date with somebody to watch a film, or I'll probably watch it online.
Yeah, same.
Most of the time. But Dragon Ball Super Broly was coming out about
Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Yeah,
dude, that's aimed at 14-year-old.
Yeah,
no, so not even 14.
You'd be surprised that there's older people.
Is it a bit like the My Little Pony kind of thing where it's like you grow? No, actually, no, not even like that. It's like kind of like the Simpsons movie. It's like I was like 20 something when that came out, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna watch it. Yeah. Like it was the biggest movie of the year. For me. I was a little bit disappointed, but
so I booked tickets. I had like a Odeon pass, so I booked tickets for months in advance.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah. So my missus like, oh, I don't really want to watch it, but I'll go with you.
Oh, hey,
so,
when you do that.
I'll go with you.
It's like, then, like, it's cute, it's sweet on the one hand, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know,
I already booked my tickets before even telling her about it. So by the time she went to book her tickets, it was sold out.
You're just sitting there, like, there's a +1.
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah. So she was sold out and everything. So she was like, oh, we can do it on another day. And then I'm like, we can move it.
We could, or
no. But then I was like, I gave her the out. So I'm like, if you don't really want to go,
like
she took it.
I bet she did. It's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, she took it. She took that out, and I'm like, okay, I've never watched it before in my life, and I'll probably won't enjoy it. So
bless her. Like, I think that's really sweet. I like when I think because it kind of brings us on to our main topic, which is actually sort of, you know, like being in a relationship and like love and dating and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, you know, I don't really know what your dating history has been like for the last decade, but I know that at university, I mean, I had a girlfriend who was quite long term, and you were single for how long? Like,
before I met my missus, I was single probably about 2 years, maybe.
2 years,
2-3 years, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not long though. Like that's another thing about that goes into me being an introvert. I'm happy being by myself. I'm not prepared to be in a relationship with somebody that I don't like just for the sake. I could have done that. I could have just stuck it out with somebody for a couple more years.
Oh, you should never do that.
Yeah, and just like, but I think from the most part, you know, from the first month of being with somebody, whether or not is it going to work out long term.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I think that's the problem with because I was recently dating somebody who was absolutely lovely, but it didn't work out because I met the girl who I'm with now. I say girl, but she's actually a woman, but she's a little bit older than me. But we'll get onto that later.
Yeah.
Because I was dating this girl and she was absolutely lovely, and I've got nothing, you know, like there was nothing wrong with her as a person at all, and she was really fun, she was really sweet, but I think that there comes that point where you're like, firstly, she did that horrible thing that people do sometimes when they're like, they create rules of dating instead of going with their instincts. So in this case, it was the whole sort of 3-date rule. And it's like, well, if you're kissing somebody, if you're like, you know, you're sitting in the park making out like teenagers.
When you say 3-date rule, do you mean like 3 dates before you go to the third base, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what third base counts. It's third base. Are we still doing bases? Are we too old for this crap?
We are.
I feel like that, but you grow up with it.
But okay, what do you mean by 3 dates? Just like
okay, so the 3-date rule would be like sort of so like, you know, you meet on the first date, and then it's like you know, like when they regulate whether or not there's how much physical attachment is, or how much physical activity is is being implied. So, for example, like maybe they'll give you a kiss on the first date, and they kind of planned it in their head.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I don't really want to be formulated because that's the last thing I am. I write a to-do list every morning. I don't, and I have a rolling to-do list, but without any input from anyone else, I will continually just sort of live day to day.
Yeah.
I would like to say live in the moment, but obviously with holidays and stuff. Anyway, I'm getting on. My point is that I think when it comes to dating somebody, when you first start dating, you automatically know that you like them. And so if things are going well, I'm not saying that, I want to sleep with every girl on the first date. That's not the case. But I generally find that if you do end up sort of when you meet somebody who, of all the people who have been quite special to me, that first date has meant a lot. And also, the meet cute is always kind of important. Obviously with internet dating, I think you met yours on, For the record, we don't just generally refer to our girlfriends as the missus.
So yes, I met my missus on Tinder.
He does.
About 3 years ago. I think,
yeah, 3 years ago. Yeah, because I met mine quite recently. I'd say about 2 or 3 months ago.
So Tinder for everybody is not just a hookup site.
Yeah, it has hope. No, it doesn't actually. I use this one called Hinge, which is like Tinder for middle class people.
Yeah, I heard about it. I heard
it's
that's
awful.
I heard that's what the kids are using now.
Yeah, no, it's not the kids. Jesus Christ, it's everyone with pearl necklaces. It's horrible. It's like sort of like like Hinge is like it's just terrible. It's like everyone on there is an executive something, and it's just like fuck off. It's like and the number of dates I went on that were just. I think the problem I have with online dating is that people naturally will put up the best pictures of them. But I had this one date actually quite close to here. We're currently recording in Greenwich, and there was a date here, and I live about an hour and a half away in Surrey. And so I rode my motorbike all the way here in the freezing cold and met this girl at a pub, and I thought that, we would be she would be anything like she was in the pictures. And it's not to say that I'm being superficial here, but I feel like it's not a good start if they're already lying before you've even bloody met them. And I think that, and you're just like, it's that feeling of when you see them and you get all pepped up. I'm generally quite okay with personal hygiene, but you make the extra effort. I feel like I did all my washing, all my personal hygiene of the week in that one moment. It took me an hour to get ready. I'm a bloke. I shaved for this bullshit. Yeah. And then and then it's like you get there and it's like, and you say, and instead of being like, oh, there you are. Yeah. And you're like, you kind of plan it in your head because I'm a stupid little romantic twat. And you get excited and you're like, oh, mate, maybe tonight, I'm actually meeting somebody who I'm going to be really happy with. Yeah. And then, you try and imagine, I can't help it. I start imagining myself with these people and stuff like that because, you're basing it on a conversation you've had before and then whatever. And you see them and it's not a question of oh, there you are. It's like, it's becoming a question of, oh, I see what you did there. It's like, oh, so other than Photoshop, what else do you bloody do, you arsehole?
So I remember this is probably about 6 months before I met my missus.
Yeah.
And I was on...
For the record, we are not naming her on purpose because otherwise we get in trouble. Yeah. And same with mine. Yeah. We don't just refer to them as our missuses or love or anything like that. We're
they do have names.
Yeah, and we are very respectful of them and slightly fearful.
Yeah. So, I was on Badoo. Have you been on Badoo before?
What's that?
It's sort of like... It's a dating website. It's sort of like a mixture of like Tinder and some other websites. You can like...
Oh, they wouldn't mix with each other these days, I swear. Yeah.
So you can match with each other, but then also you can like message people in your area and everything.
So what? It gives you like a location-based thing. Isn't that what Tinder does anyway?
Sort of, but you have to match the talk. This one you can just like see somebody in your
neighborhood. Match the talk as well.
Yeah.
This is hard, man.
So basically, you have both options. You can match the talk. You can match each other, and then you can talk to each other. But also, you can look in your area and see girls, and then you can like message them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
So I can't remember what the radius is.
I really pity somebody who's living in a flat apartment complex, and she's like super hot, and then
we matched. We started talking on WhatsApp, talking to her on the phone. She seemed alright. The pictures seemed okay. So
our pictures are always gonna be awkward. Yeah. Apparently, I got called a reverse catfish.
Which we're gonna touch on that. I want to know what that means.
It's
hold on. Let me finish here.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
So we met in a bar in Wetherspoons. We wasn't meant to go to Wetherspoons. We just pretty much, this is the meeting point. Then we're going to go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
So I met in Wetherspoons. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's awkward when it's a spoons. You're not looking classy there.
Yeah, just looking at her, I'm like, oh, God, I want to turn back. the other way.
What?
Yeah, literally.
Mate, I hope she's not going to listen to this. We're going to be in so much trouble. I literally can't say that about her.
I literally wanted to turn back the other way.
Why?
Just photos. just not.
Oh yeah, she's a bit different in the photos.
Yeah.
Did you get the no? Oh, I see what you did there. Type situation?
It was exactly that.
I fucking hate that.
So I was like, oh my god. So anyway,
This was a disaster.
so I think she goes, I need to go to the toilet.
Oh, she's so gonna
I need
throw
to go
that
to the
ring
toilet
at you.
before we go to the bar. So I was like, I could run now.
No, you
do it now.
couldn't. You can't get out of those bloody stalls.
I
You can't get into those stalls the size of you.
So I was like, yeah, I could leave now. I could do
Hold
it.
on, someone's going to notice you. Anyone would notice
I
you.
can leave her now. She's in the toilet. I can just go out the door. Easy.
Shit.
But I'm like, you know what? I'm a gentleman.
You're not, because you just slagged her off. Like,
Hold on. I'm a gentleman. I said I'll take her out for dinner. Let me take her out for dinner.
Yeah, go on.
So
Where'd you take her? Was it Nando's?
No, some diner.
Is that
racist? Hey.
Nando's is a good restaurant. We all like Nando's. Yeah, go on.
Just because I'm black, I would have to take her to a chicken place.
I was thinking that earlier when I was like, I don't know why, but Nando's, I do know why. It's
Even
I
Nando's around here, but I've never been to it.
Is there actually?
Yeah.
Do you want to go to it later?
No, I've got my
I'm hungry. All right.
But so went to the diner. She went to the toilet again.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could leave her now.
Fuck.
I just kept every time she left the room. I'm like, I could run. I could do it.
I really have to listen to this.
Really odd and weird. She wasn't just like.
Odd and weird is so good.
She was odd and weird, and
I like that though.
yeah. And then she started talking about, if my next relationship doesn't work out, I'm gonna like stab them. And she was just
wait. She started with that.
she was just
All
talking.
right, now, if that's actually talking, you're like, okay, maybe the toilet's the best idea. Yeah, okay. Now you're saying that she started threatening to
She's
stab
really
your
weird.
next relationship.
Yeah, she was doing this thing where like she
I know you're happily engaged at Knife Point. Like,
she was doing this thing where she like picking her teeth underneath the menu. It was just really weird. It's just like really weird. And, oh god! And then we got on a bus and then like touching my face and like calling me cute and stuff like that.
is this the same girl that you're getting married to?
No.
Oh, I thought it was like.
So this is my mission. No.
I was going to say, because this is one hell of a meet cute that's taking a turn here. That's what I kept saying. Like, you know, like, I hope she's not.
This is not my missus.
Oh, this is a different girl. Oh, thank God. All right, okay. Because I was going to say she will throw that ring at you if you say shit like this.
Definitely. For the record, I'm marrying my missus.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
somebody else.
He means Mrs.
That's what I said 5 months before I met my missus.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I was just like, she's like, oh, where do you want to go after dinner? So I was like, oh, I'm tired. And we go home. Got home, just blocked her.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
I had that. I had this one where, who was I dating? But I tell you what, in Indonesia, I had this one because I just broken up with a girl, surprise, and and so my heating got blocked off for like the weekend, and I was just sitting there in 35-degree heat, sweating until 5 a.m. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm giving Tinder a go. Gave it a go, and like when you're out there, quite easy to do that because you're commodity. And then this girl. She goes, oh, I hope you're as wild and crazy as I am. Did not speak a single word of English. And my Bahasa was awful. I mean, I don't intend to be there for a year. And we watched these joggers go past. And in the chat, I'd been saying, like, I've just come out of a relationship. I'm just kind of looking for a bit of fun, nothing to commit to. She asked me if I'm going to meet her, when I'm going to meet her parents. Offered me a gourd, which I thought was a bit like, okay, I'll have a gourd on our next date, I guess. And it was the most awkward thing. I mean, I'm not normally quiet. As in, like, like sort of like a vegetable of some sort. I don't know, like it's sort of like a root vegetable. I don't know. I think it was like a durian. It was a durian. That's it. And durian, they stink. If you ever it smells like vomit. And like, I was like, I don't really want to. And like, I mean, it's it's an interesting fruit. It's an experience, I suppose. But yeah, out there it's a delicacy in the same way that gone off cheese here is. But yeah. Anyway, so people are weird. But yeah, like it was just a weird date, and she was like, and there was this other one where she showed up at my house, like, okay, so we went out on the Friday, and this was like near Christmas time. We went out on a Friday, and her English wasn't great, and my has her again. I've only been there for 4 months, and it's no excuse, but it is. And so this
is why you was living over there to teach.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Well, I was teaching
you
there.
You're teaching over there, yeah.
And I was speaking really slowly so that she could understand me, and she's smiling. It was okay. It was just a bit awkward. I knew at that point she's not the one, just because language barrier. I mean, she could have been lovely, but whatever. But it turned out she wasn't, because the next morning, like literally a day later, she showed. I woke up to 7 missed calls from a random number I didn't know, a landline, and then 6 missed calls from her, and my mate knocking on the door, being like, "Mate, there's that girl here from Friday to see you." And I was like, it was like 9 a.m. and I'm like, what the fuck? So I went outside and I had to be a gentleman about it because it's like, she's in my house, what the fuck? Like, she's standing in my hallway, and it's a shared hallway, but she's still in my fucking living room, and I'm like, I can't just pretend I'm not there. I've just opened the door with the towel wrapped around me, like, whoa, what's going on? And she sat there, and I let her in, and so I was like, well, if you want to come for a cuddle, but I've got to be up at 12, I've been up all night, because I work nights. And she's like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, come in. But she had braces, because they do later on, they have it later on, it's a culture thing. And I just remember I was lying down, instead of like cuddling up, she leans over me and just smiled, like this really super creepy sort of, like horror movie smile. And I lay there for about half an hour trying to keep my eyes closed so it didn't look awkward. But oh my God, I've never been that on edge. And then afterwards she told me she loved me. And I was like, okay, I think we have let's just.
That's insane.
Yeah, let's run away. And then she shagged a bandmate or something. I don't know, it was really weird.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was dating in Asia. Great website.
Dating what?
No, she was one of the singers at our local place. But
what's the website called?
Oh, Dating in Asia.
I thought you said dating a teenager.
No, fuck. No, but I'll tell you what though, when you go out there, it's kind of weird. It's like that whole sort of, because people are smaller in general.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's confusing. It gets really confusing. You're just like, I actually ID'd my first girlfriend. It's just, I think it takes about 6 months to get used to people, really, especially when you're sort of out and about in places you've never really been before.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of same thing applies sort of across the board. I mean, not just in sort of more extreme examples like that, but also, socially in different areas or different arenas.
Yeah.
And for me, I think one of the major things has been like progressing across into the working world as well, because I think one of the major problems with sort of becoming an adult is that you're not taught, you're just kind of taught, like, psychology, criminology, whatever. But then everyone just sort of says, you kind of have that sort of feeling that you'll go on to a career, which is what is described. But you get back home, you sit down after all that degreeing, and then all that structure just falls away. And
it's actually
just goes,
it's crazy though. It's like, is that actual dream they tell you in school? Because I remember being in school, like, especially coming from where I'm from, I was like, getting to university was like almost the finish line. Like,
yeah,
like I never planned on going to university. It was like so far fetched for me, like going to space.
Yeah,
so like I managed to somehow get there. So I'm like, I've made it, like I've done it. But then like you get there and you realize it's not shit. It's not nothing.
Well, I mean, like, not to slag anybody off kill or anything like that, but yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. I wouldn't say it was
don't
shit.
Get me wrong. I do recommend university. I did have the time of my life. It changed me as a person. Like, it opened my eyes.
It is a really good social platform.
It definitely like matured me. Kind of got me ready for the world. But I mean, like, in terms of like a degree and everything, like. A lot, like you go to university at 18 and you're meant to know what you want to do for the rest of your life.
I wouldn't trust somebody who was 18.
18-year-old.
Not to patronise anybody, but yeah, like
you give them one opportunity to get student finance to know what they're going to do with the rest of their life. Like
it's
18.
Weird. I think it goes back further. Actually, it goes to like 14 when they're like, "Hey, what GCSEs do you want to do?" It's like, I don't fucking know.
You don't know what you want to do.
Yeah,
you have no clue. You just kind of go along. It's like
the most major decision I made as to whether or not to identify a pube.
Yeah.
So, it's true, it's happening. Oh my god!
So yeah, you finally like I'm doing my A levels and everybody's going to university. I'm like, yeah, I wanted to go to university. I want to be successful, but like, yeah.
But they sell that image of success. It's not actually true anymore.
That's what the schools tell you. They kind of like push you there.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's a motive behind it. They have their Ofsted report. They want people to come to their college, to their schools. It looks good. We got this person went to Oxford. We got this person went to Cambridge.
Yeah, you see,
you got all this, like, so they can say to the parents. The parents are like, "Oh, I'm going to send my kid to this school." But it's all a fantasy. Like,
it's
really
weird. It's like it's all become very businessy.
There's only a small, like, we got few people like in our friendship circle that kind of had what they want to do and kind of
but those are people who had a medical like I think their ambitions, I think particularly in the medical field is or like you're either going to become a lawyer, you're going to become I don't know, a soul or a soldier or something like that, and I think that's a very clear pathway.
And that's what you want to do and you work towards it.
Yeah, and there's a very obvious way to get there.
The thing is though, like, I think we have like in society, like, oh, you have to do this at this age, you have to do your GCSEs at 16. Yeah. You have to do your A levels at 18.
Also, there's a stigma attached to it as well. It's like,
So
I think it's like moving out out your house. It's like you're meant to do that around about the age of 22, 24.
You have to do this
It's
at
fucking
this
impossible
age.
now.
But in reality, you can leave school at 16, get a job doing whatever.
Yeah, and make a shit ton of money in the meantime.
Work doing something and then decide, you know what, I need some A-levels. I'll go and do some A-levels in your 20s.
Well,
reality. Or you can decide like, okay, I've got my A-levels now. And I do recommend for anybody listening that you do your A-levels, because you never know if you want to go to university later on. And you don't want to have to worry about having to do a foundation degree or do...
Plus it's free.
In between qualifications to get to university. University is not for everybody. You don't have to go to university. Like for me, I'm like the first person on my mum's side of the family that has gone to university and completed. Everybody else haven't gone. You don't have to do that. You can choose to do it later on. When you're 23, 24, you find something you do. You might be working for, I don't know, a law firm doing admin or something. Then you get really into it. Then they're like, oh, you know what? It makes sense for me to get a law degree because I want to be a lawyer.
Yeah, and especially if you've got that experience behind you and stuff.
Yeah, now I can get a law degree, and now I know exactly what I want to do with that degree. Do
you think there is like that little magic moment where you actually realise what you want to do with your life? Because I think for me, I'm now 30 and I'm not sure. I'm doing I've done sort of 4 or 5 careers already. I don't chop and change, but yeah.
Not to say where I work, but I work in education. So I'm not sure. I think some people you just get along. I'm nearly 30 and I still not necessarily knowing what I want to do. You just end up there. You just end up somewhere.
Yeah.
Time flies on you though. It's crazy because I remember just like, I'll just take this job for a couple of months.
Yeah, it's always the way, isn't it?
A couple of months and then 6 years.
Going out to Indonesia, I only meant to be there for 1 year. I was there for 3. And it's like, I think that with the whole sort of jobs thing, it's...
Then you get typecast into that job role.
Yeah, we get used to doing it as well. I've had a colleague that was, she worked as a writer for one of the newspapers I work for, and she was there for 9 years, and she just said, "Oh, it's reasonably okay, the pay, I get on." I think that it depends on the personality, but I mean, for me, I intended to leave after a year, and I ended up there for 19 months.
I think. As I say, like money is the root of all evil, and it's somebody's paying you. You just continue to stay where you are.
Yeah, because it's easier to have money than not. And also, looking for another job is hard. I mean, I've been looking for a job for about the last 9 months, since April. And I'm finding it's not... Like, the problem is, I mean, I know that I've got talent. I know that I'm good at what I do. But I think the other problem is that it's finding somebody to believe your shit. And also, it's the way these job applications are written. Like, it's soul destroying, and it's not. And the thing is that I feel sorry for the recruiters because they kind of have to advertise the job as well. But everyone's looking for a motivated bullshit artist, and it's just exhausting.
You know what annoys me though? Like now you got every job making you go through this now.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
It doesn't matter what job it is anymore.
Yeah, like what is that? Like McDonald's people got people like
you have to go through 5 stages of recruitment.
Yeah, why?
To work in McDonald's, like
that's bollocks. I mean, I don't want to work. I mean,
the floor you have to go through all this interview.
I got a bar job recently and it was super simple. All it was I walked into this pub. I said, "Hi, can I have a job?" And she goes, "Actually, I'm looking for somebody." "Yep, come on you. What are you doing next Tuesday?" I'm like, "Perfect." I mean, it's easy, simple.
Have you ever mopped the floor? Show me. You can mop. Okay, you're hired.
Yeah. What happened to pull a pint. There you go. All right, easy.
What happened to any of that anymore?
Yeah, it's like I mean, if you were going for like a high level degree, like like a really high skill thing where it's like you got the company potentially hinges on you fucking something up, then fine. But I think that like when you're doing these sort of, I think that it's almost
you could train a monkey to do it.
It's just dick sucking. Yeah. It's just them sucking their own cocks.
Yeah. But you know what it is though? It's partly that, but also as well the employment law kind of changed and everything kind of screwed everything up as well.
I don't like being asked about...
Which it is good for us, but bad at the same time, because in the sense that they can't go, "You're clearly an idiot, I'm going to fire you."
Yeah, but that's frustrating though, because it doesn't lead to that.
You mop the floor with the mop the wrong way around.
Yeah. But the problem is that it causes actually more stress than it's worth, because I've been through a few situations where I haven't been right for the job, really. Yeah. I mean, there have been times when I have been, but I think that, because I think my problem is that when I have a breakup, I end up really obsessed by it. And so my work falls by the wayside. Yeah. And also, like sometimes I make mistakes. But I ended up, and also because I wore my motorboat trousers all the time, and they didn't like it. But yeah, anyway, so what was it? It's just like, I think that when you end up in this position where instead of just being able to say to somebody, "Look, you're not doing great here, like maybe this isn't for you," you could get sued for saying that to somebody, or saying, "Look, mate, you're doing shit." And the reality is that if in my position as the person who probably was, I wouldn't say I was going to get fired, but who was, looking at, potentially, who's in a lot of hot water, instead of what they could have done, which is, look, we like you, we want to keep you on, you're a really good person, but here's, you're fucking this up here, here, and here. They have to put you on a performance improvement plan, which is bullshit because it's just
it's really difficult,
vague
to fire
goals.
somebody nowadays.
Yeah, but the problem is that when they're doing that, it causes long-term mental health problems, and it causes super anxiety because you're spending the whole time feeling like you're being judged. You spend the whole time thinking people are talking about you, people that you're shit at your job, and it destroys your self-esteem. It destroys your pride in your work, and therefore the less pride you have in your work, and the less feeling and it destroys that feeling that the company give a shit about you back. And
can we talk about your recent job situation?
Yeah, I was a local journalist, and I'm now an international one because I've self-funded my own project. But I saved up a lot of money because I was meant to go to Canada, but things fell through all at once. So my life fell apart. I had a huge breakup with somebody who thought I was going to marry, and I called it Shit Tuesday because when that became apparent, it was the same time that my boss put me on a PIP, performance improvement plan. Because I was wearing more trousers, and also because they said that, that I didn't read through my work properly. But it turns out later down the line, as we've discovered, we've just discussed.
Just give a little background. You were a journalist in. I'm not going to say your company's name.
No, I worked for a local newspaper in Surrey. And the thing is, though, that in that role, and I find this is quite important, is that a lot of these what were low-level roles, which in say 20 years ago were different to the ones that are actually happening now. And I think the responsibility that comes with the ability to do more with computers, with the technology that we have, and digitization, you end up writing you end up in a position where, and also social attitudes as well, it changes the what the job is. So journalism right now is completely different to how it was 20 years ago, and that's not me saying that. That's like John Simpson said that in a lecture that he gave us once at uni. And I think that the roles that we play are very difficult, and to compare sort of what happened when you were going into a role when you're a manager is to sort of, when all these little tweaks and things to roles, they ultimately change it completely. So as a journalist, we are writing, by the time I left, I was writing sort of 4 articles a day. I was working loads of unpaid overtime, and the company were paying me what was fair, say 10 years ago. But actually it's not. You can't live. You work your ass off, but I was talking to a friend of mine who's in a similar position, and he was saying how he gets to payday, and it comes in, and he's like, well, that's barely paid my rent. How am I supposed to? And he's living modestly. He goes out parties on a weekend, doesn't do any drugs or anything like that, but he just wants a couple of beers, and that's in Manchester. And he goes, oh right, it's not fair. But he's not saying, he wasn't moaning or anything like that, but he was saying like it's not actually reasonable that I work 50 hours a week and I get paid, and then I come home and and then half my money's taken in rent of £600 for a pokey little flat that I don't really like, and then I've got to deal with getting commuting and things like that. And by the end of it, he's like, it's this whole culture that we have to have staycations now. People have to stay in their houses, and that happened particularly to my friend. He was another friend of mine who I used to work with, had a staycation where he couldn't afford to go abroad and pay the rent at the same time. He couldn't afford a week away in France. He couldn't afford the petrol or the ticket to get over there. And he was working 50 hours a week,
Jesus,
of which 10 he was unpaid for, I would say, on average. I mean, obviously it varies.
But the objective for it to pay off in the end.
Yeah, and you'd think that after, I know that everyone has that whole starting wage thing where it kind of is trying to encourage you to get to the next level.
I don't really know much about your field of work, so
neither do I.
If they're what happens to people like you? Does it they're a graveyard of failed journalists?
No, I don't know. I think it's a lot of people who, journalism's a bit like medicine. It's very competitive.
Yeah,
we were an extremely competitive bunch. It's dog eat dog. Honest to God, it was like everyone wants to be the best, and we're perfectionists. They are dedicated and very energetic people who do push, and most of them are factually accurate. And there's that bad press that comes from arseholes like Donald Trump who say, oh yeah, fake news, and it's not. That's just propaganda. That's what fake news is. It's just propaganda and a new name, and it's for the most part bollocks. But the real news and he's just using it to sort of diminish actual fact finding, actual news, and the reality of the situation because he's an idiot. But with I feel that with real journalism, grassroots journalism, there's a failing industry there because people are not picking up local papers. People are not listening to local news. People just don't give a shit enough about their communities these days, and a lot of people do.
Is it that people don't give a shit, or the technology's changed? Like, people don't read newspapers like they used to.
No, they don't.
I can't remember the last time I read a newspaper. I don't even read the Metro on the tube, and that's free. And it's like, is it that people don't care about their community? It's just that people don't.
Well, I mean, they do, but they things they can be more active in that community on a Facebook group.
Yeah,
and and whereas if you have,
for example, around where we live, around where I live now in North Greenwich, there's like a Facebook group, and people are really into their community.
Yeah,
so I think people still care about the communities. Just the way they check up on it is different from how people did in the past.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it from your bed.
Yeah.
And also, you don't have that issue of journalism. I mean, with journalism...
Also, as well, everything gets covered. Like, say something's happened across the road, it's get covered by
someone being like, oh my goodness, someone's
have a picture instantly. Yeah.
Yeah, and we as journalists have to decide what's news.
You're playing catch-up almost.
Yeah, also, not only are you paying catch-up, but we've got to abide by the law.
Yeah.
So there are rules, for example, things we can't say, we can't name victims of whatever.
Yeah.
If and like, there's loads and loads of ethics and standards behind it, and also we have to make sure we're factually accurate. When you add the process to it, even when you're being really, really quick, and also you have to wait for a balanced view if you're going to be a good journalist.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you end up with opinionated crap. Not to say all opinions are crap, but it's just it does cheapen the factual basis of journalism, which is the only is the cornerstone thereof.
Yeah.
And I think that having a view on things is okay, but I think that if you make that view actually kind of newsy, as opposed to presenting the facts first and foremost, and then saying, okay, well, I feel that, but making a clear separation, because I think what's happening now is that because people are kind of more led onto opinion. For example, if you Google, like if I write the word Trump in my headline, I know that it's going to get 5 more times the views than any other article. Yeah. And that's why you'll notice that on CNN, for example, Trump comes up a lot because he ain't the only one who's addicted to his name. Yeah, which is horrible, absolutely horrible, because it's also his brand name, and he's just not a good person in my opinion. He's horrible. But yeah, it's like I think with local news, it's difficult because on the one hand, our audience are literally dying off for the most part, and also you've got a lot of young people there writing about things, but old people are the ones who buy that newspaper. Yeah. So it's a huge generational gap between the people who are writing it, who are fresh little spritlings, looking for another gig, and who kill for a story, and old people who are like, oh, I quite like bricks, or whatever it is that they like, and you can't automatically have that connection unless you really do know your audience, which you can't engage with because they're not online, or because the online audience already know what you're about to write about anyway. And then you've got to wait for the police or any other press office who are involved, who might not get back to you for another day, or might not actually want to give you the details that you're asking, or very rarely actually answer the question because they want to dodge it and they don't have any obligation to tell you the truth, or tell you the whole story. They do have to tell you the truth, otherwise, I don't know what happens really. But the problem is that journalism takes time. Good journalism takes time, and it's all online anyway, and
so there's not like an instant gratification with it.
There isn't.
It takes time for you to produce a story, and then it's last week's news now.
Well, yeah, not even that.
That was interesting yesterday or the day before, but we already discussed it online already.
And people are already sitting there. They've already got 100 words on the chat, and then the worst part is that you end up sort of commenting on the comments around it, and then you have to get permissions from the people who said that to write that, and then half the time they're not even in. And you're just like, or you just get, now I don't like fake news. That will show you. It's like, oh, great, mate. I'm being paid fuck all for this. Yeah. I'm just trying to take an interest in the community. For shit's sake, help me to help you, to help me to help you. I had this one woman. She was a bitch. She had a go at me for the speed at which I typed on the phone. And she was like, oh, you type rather slowly, don't you? I'm like, I can tell you haven't got a life. And it was all just because her fucking dog had gone.
This is where you're getting a quote from her.
Yeah, I mean, her husband had rung up and said that his dog had managed to get from one town to another all on our own.
You know, have you watched what's that show?
Oh,
on Netflix?
Afterlife.
Yeah, Afterlife with Ricky
Yeah,
Gervais.
that was weird because it came out around about Christmas, so just had that breakup, and his girlfriend's dead, and they were all having all those fun times and stuff. And I was just sitting there like all upset because I was like, I used to laugh like that, and then also the fact that he's a local journalist. So I was like, I also used to do that as well. Just lost my job, and I was like, oh, come on. But it's not entirely accurate because the people in there actually wanted to be in the damn paper.
Is there any money in local journalism then?
It's dying out because the print.
Yeah.
In print, no, not really.
Is there anybody that's doing well?
There are people who are doing well. I mean, like there are, I think Facebook's mainly the one that's doing well because it controls the traffic now.
Yeah.
But I think that.
And do you
their rules do impact heavily on independent news.
Did you guys put stuff on Facebook?
Yeah, that's how we advertise
our
work. I mean, but people will read the headline; they won't read the article.
Yeah, it's all clickbaity thing.
Well, not necessarily, and people would assume that it is. Yeah. Usually, it's actually quite accurate, but it has to be written a certain way.
It's actually interesting you said that. I think a lot of people just read headlines.
Yeah.
So they could,
and then they assume that they're an expert as well.
For example, this podcast we're doing is could be over an hour long.
Oh, jeez.
They could just read. They just read one headline from it.
Yeah.
That's what we said.
There's
no context to it. There's no what following anything.
And there's no character as well. And I think that especially when you're writing it, it's difficult to come across in a certain way. But it is an art, and it is what we do, and we do love it. But no one pays for writing anymore. Everyone's literate, and everyone can, like we say, I mean, anyone can write a book, but and self-publish it nowadays, which is it just kind of takes the magic out of things, in my opinion. Because you can't be an author anymore. You can be a.
It's the thing though,
Well, you can't be an author.
Anybody can go online and just blog.
Yeah, and no one's going to read it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was this when I was doing the research for the project that we're doing, the Deutsche Welle and Al Jazeera have been nice enough to commission us for, which he underpaid. But actually, no, they didn't underpay. Actually, they paid the going rate, but unfortunately, our expenses were far more than that. It didn't cover the ticket out by a shot, by anything. Anyway, but yeah, my point is that that's the other side of it, is that if you want to do good international or large scale journalism without a company behind you, if you want to do freelance journalism, it's very, very difficult to write anything that isn't an opinion piece, or anything that isn't done from a laptop on the other side of the world, because you can't. There's no money to go out and actually see the thing you're writing about in practice. You have to rely on second-hand reporting and then take their words and then turn it into something that works, which is doable. But in this case, we actually did go out there because I always wanted to go to South America. Yeah. And for the record, I mean, I'm not bitching about my old job, actually. It was one of my favourites. I think teaching was something beautiful. I think that teachers do deserve more respect than they get, but...
And for the record as well, anybody that has a job is actually a blessing.
You're lucky.
Loads of people that are unemployed can't even get a job. So
being unemployed. Unemployed. I can go for that all day.
I think we all do kind of bitch about our jobs or wish you can get more money, but at the end of the day, whatever you got, you prayed to get and you got it. So at the end of the day, you should be definitely grateful. Yeah, and it's not just. I mean, and also I think that it's easy to slag stuff off after the fact, but I'm not bitter about what I did. I remember when I got my job, I was grateful for it, but now I'm I wish I can get double the money, but
yeah, but you hear about those stories, but the reality is very different. I mean, I've been unemployed for a few months, and it's not actually just about being unemployed. The money's one of the problems, and I think that if I was in a different position where I didn't have the support I do, then I'd be fucked. But for me, it was not having a status in society. Because the first thing people ask you is, "What do you do?" And I say freelance journalist, but reality is, I went on a jolly across to Chile and had a great time. And also worked my ass off. But
it's interesting that you actually said that because I did a module in business cause I did business management in Keele. And we did a module it's just basically your job is how you define yourself in parties. When people go to you, so what do? You go, I do this, I do that. Yeah, and it starts with uni where it's what do you study, and it becomes what do you do for a living. I think the interesting thing about a uni, you kind of have you have an open status. So when people go, what do? You go, I'm a student. Yeah. So you have pretty much the world at your feet, so you can do anything. Yeah. So not really. But if you're doing an art degree, really, have fun. All right, see you at McDonald's. Actually, no, that's an old trope. I'm not playing that one out. No, that's crap. No, I mean, it's gender studies is a new art degree. It really is. Jesus Christ. What did you study? Being sex, it's great. Boys are boys and girls are girls, but it's on a spectrum. Is it?
It's like, go on, enjoy putting your pronoun in your Twitter profile, you prick. Like, what a bunch of... What? By the way, since when the fuck did we as a society go towards, like, gender equality, which I completely am on board with?
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea why women aren't paid as much as men. I think it's absolute bullshit.
They definitely should
and,
be.
like, especially when you consider the fact that women, in my experience, I mean, I went out and worked with the...
But only reason why I can think that happened is also due to, like, how society used to be, because we're in a, like, patriarch.
The breadwinner.
So
but I mean,
patriarch
I find
society,
it...
so it's like... Basically, it's like, you just assume that the man has a big old family to look after.
Yeah, but my girlfriend's a surgeon.
As opposed to the woman, that's how it was in society. I'm not saying this is how it is now, for the record.
Yeah.
That's how it was in society.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that there's still a very strong remnant of that attitude. And especially
but it's still left over, which is wrong.
Yeah.
And also, there's the fact that the women go on maternity leave. Which,
that's something I have a theory about.
Which puts them... Say you had 3 kids, that's going to put you at least 3 years behind in your career.
Yeah, and also I think that... But
and
I reckon there's a good way to
now
get rid
you
of
have to take, like, flexible leave and all that type of stuff, which is going to set your career back years.
It's not fair.
It's not fair, but that's what happens. We only get 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We don't have years of setbacks in our career.
I do feel though that for me, like, I think what we should do is subvert that. Because I mean, everyone's always like, oh, what do we do about maternity leave? But actually what we should do is increase paternity leave, so it's just as financially risky
for men
to hire a man as it is to hire a woman. Because I can understand why you would. As a company, if I'm paying someone to not be there, then I'm going to be pissed about it. There's no doubt about it. They're not making you money.
Yeah,
that it's a drain on your assets just because they've decided
so you're saying
have a baby, or maybe not decided.
Give a man the option to have a year off.
If a bloke knocks up his wife or girlfriend or whoever, his partner, I hate using the word partner. I don't know why, but it's just become
it's kind of
it's a bit
ambiguous. Like,
it's like faux sophisticated. It's like, just say girlfriend. It doesn't matter how old you are. You know, if granddad's got a girlfriend, it's adorable. If dad's got a new girlfriend, it would break our family, but it would, it's not adorable. It's going to cause a few fucking problems. There's going to be, I think it's one of
Steve is not going to be happy.
Oh, well, Mrs. Steed might,
have a problem with it.
She showed him the knife. No, she didn't. She's not like that. She's very, very sort of, although she's a Scouse, which is really funny, actually. Yeah, she's like the most poshest lady. Yeah. Like, she's very prim and proper and very Surrey. But
I don't think I've actually met your mum before.
You must have done.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, who do you think was dropping me off?
I think I met your dad. I've definitely met your dad before. I'm not sure if I met your mum.
Well, they were kind of both quite, they're quite sort of, well, I mean, they fit in, let's put it that way. They're both very successful people, very well educated, and, they're very, very astute, But they get to that age now where they're like getting a bit grumpy sometimes, and it's really cute to watch them. But what were we talking about before? We were talking about maternity leave, yeah. So for me, I mean, I've got a friend who's just come on to maternity leave. She's like 38, and she's just had a baby about 6 weeks ago, and she refers to herself as a milky cow, because she says that all she spends her days doing is just sitting there with this baby just latched onto a boob, and it's these people, like mums, especially at that stage where you're basically carrying a 3 kilogram weight around that can't be dropped, otherwise I think it's a crime. It's an accidental crime basically. If you drop a baby and they start getting a little bit, they walk funny. Fuck. That's on you. Yes. But I know. Honestly, hold the head. For God's sake, hold the head. It's so scary, and they don't know where their bodies are either. So these babies just wriggle weirdly. I don't know. I tried to hold a baby the other day. It absolutely terrified me, and you just don't know when they're going to be sick either. It really scares the shit out of me. But what it was that this is somebody who is brilliant at what they do, and is not being held back by a baby, but and I wouldn't say that and it wasn't an accident or anything like that. She's with her husband, it happens, but and she's really, really good at her job. But at the same time, it feels wrong that she's got 6 months off to bond with that child, but her husband doesn't get that time off. He has to go in and out, and he comes back and he sits there and he adores his daughter, and he's a great guy. But I feel that if you give men that 6 months, I think in
Sweden they have a different. I'm not sure how long they get off, but I think they get much longer.
Yeah, because it'd be nice if we could actually bond with our children as well. And I think that that's the other problem, is that we do have. It is very important to establish yourself with your child and have that bonding experience. And also, I mean, more than anything, and especially considering the fact that in our generation, men are just as happy to cook and do things like that. There's no such thing as women's work in most homes these days. You've got I think that it's really important just to have someone around to help cook or help do the housing chores that the mum can't do because she's sitting there being milked the whole time, which is just partially good for them, but also, I guess, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a woman. I can't talk about, being maternal, but I do know that it's a bit difficult to, like it must be quite difficult.
Be like 5 months or something crazy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, why don't you get because if blokes could do that, then they would be as much of a financial risk to any company. Thus, like negating that, you wouldn't have an excuse to pay them less. Like, obviously, for the record, we have no idea of any of the real facts. It's just this is mostly opinion, but it's I just don't feel like it's fair. Like, I mean,
of course, it's not fair.
And also, I think that if you do lengthen paternity leave, then obviously I just can't see the financial benefit of it. To be honest, I mean, like, you don't want to lose two workers, because I mean, like, imagine if there's
husband and wife in the office.
Oh my god, yeah. Like there was. I worked with an insurance company. I swear, a third of the people there were married to each other, and it's just like if one of them knocks the other one up, which they were wanton to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird. It was like a bunch of 40-year-old people having affairs with each other. Oh, it's gross. Insurance is just the worst industry. I mean, it's not too bad. Oh, I'll tell you what though. There's more investigation goes on as an insurance claims management specialist than there is if you are a journalist, almost. I mean, apart from the write-ups.
I can imagine that, though.
It's like, I mean, I learned to Facebook stalk people through that job.
Yeah, I can imagine
that.
And
they call it an internet search.
Yeah.
And you go up to a special computer and you have to, like, sort of basically Facebook stalk whoever the hell claims they've got cancer.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
That whole thing we were discussing earlier with the whole he, she pronouns, gender isn't a political stance. It's not. It doesn't make you better or bigger. Common sense should never have to be advertised. It should just be a given. It's like respect. It's like, for shit's sake, like just it's exhausting to see this actually these days. Is that, I mean, I can't remember who it was, but there was some. I don't know what I was doing, but I read this Twitter and this politician going, and she was clearly a woman, and she's like coming up with some sort of really kind of mediocre opinion, but in her profile it had she/her. And it's like we know, like we know. And I mean, I've been to a drag show like or two, and
so sorry, was this like a transgender? Is that the right term for it?
She wasn't trans.
Where was she?
She was just a woman. She was like a normal woman.
But she doesn't want to be referred to as a woman.
No, she's got she/her as if we didn't know.
Okay.
And it gets to the point where it's almost patronisingly sort of like, I mean, there was no reason for her to make that point. Don't get me wrong, like if you are somebody who's sort of, like who's been asked a few times, like, are you a boy or a girl? Then definitely sort of, like that's a very internal thing. And I think that I really respect people who...
So was she on that spectrum?
Not at all.
She was
literally just a politician putting the words her/she.
Because I thought...
It's kind of just to be in vogue.
I understand that because people like to
She had long hair.
People like to use gender-specific language when it comes to like dealing with women, so they kind of lessen their opinions or lessen them as a person by referring to them as like. So I sort of understand what she's sort of trying to do.
Yeah, but if you say like I'm a she, well, it's like, but you're gonna look an idiot because we know you're a she. We're talking to you.
Yeah.
I mean, in the same way. I mean, you don't.
So she put down that she's a she/he.
No, she put down she/her.
Oh, her. Okay, so I'm misunderstanding.
Not she/he. If it's she/he, then she's not doing anything to like let anyone be any less confused. I understand
what you're saying.
Like, she/he, and everyone's like, well, which one?
So she put she/her.
It doesn't make this.
I understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah, so it's like, it's like I just feel like if you are somebody who isn't trans, I mean, it's good to show support for the, like for anything really, but I don't like the fact that it's become almost, it's almost like become a sort of calling card of look how open-minded I am. When that's not the case, it's just common sense.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I think
it's interesting nowadays in society. We sort of don't know how to refer to people anymore.
It's awkward.
You sort of have to be very careful because like nobody's trying to offend anybody. We're just trying to.
Yeah, clearly not.
Yeah, you grow up all these years kind of referring to people in a certain way. I don't know whether that was right or wrong.
I don't understand what. I don't think it's wrong at all. Yeah. It's like saying, I mean, it's just exhausting. It's a bit like sort of like again with.
You have to be very careful nowadays.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but
you can't offend anybody by saying that it's it's just. I mean, like, if someone asks, I mean, why are we so afraid of asking people something? I mean, it's like I don't
think like if somebody does make a mistake, they should be like,
ostracized or punished.
Yeah, or like persecuted or anything because like. You grow up like it's all about bullying. It's all about education. At the end of the day, you grow up thinking a certain way and talking a certain way. So you have to sort of unlearn a certain behavior. So the only way to do that.
Yeah, but you should unlearn a behavior that's negatively impacting your life in a big way. I mean, for example, if I keep walking into my door, I'm going to learn not to walk into my door. If I keep referring to my girlfriend who's mixed race as half caste, then that's going to become a problem.
But then that being said, like people,
that'd be a problem for her.
Yeah, but then again, that's not. Some people grow up all their life saying half caste, for example. Yeah, and I'm not gonna say who in my family, but like people in my family might say half caste because that was the term that was used at the time,
and that's the one they've grown up with using.
Then you grow up to realize that's extremely racist. Like
you say half a person.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly saying that they're half a person.
Yeah, but I think that it depends on the intent behind what you say, and I don't believe that. No one's using the N word these days, but
most people don't know. But when people that do say half caste, most people don't know that's what it means. You're saying that they're half. You're not even saying they're half a person. You're saying they're like halfway to being a person.
And I think that also the word caste as well. Like
it's like the whole caste system. The lighter skin you are, the better you are. So you're saying something that's half caste is almost. You're almost a person. You're almost a person. You're half of the way.
And also, I think it's quite difficult sometimes when because I come from Surrey, so we had like literally 6 kids who in our year of 360 who weren't white. And so it depends how much time how much you encounter people of a different race. I think that
I think I had the opposite experience because like where I grew up in London, black people outnumber white people 10 to 1 at least.
Fuck.
Yeah, so white people in most of my schools were in the minority.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you find that did they ever sort of like? Did you find there was any sort of racial tension at all there? Or
no,
did it ever come up?
No, it wasn't really a racial tension. The odd, like maybe one person might say something racist or something.
But would it be racist against them or racist? Like, would it go like sort of hand in hand, like tit for tat? Or
I think there was more racist towards the white people, but there was occasional like the white person being racist. They got beaten up for being racist. But then, it's like
isn't beating them up for being racist also? Because actually no, because I guess I actually bumped into him the other day.
Really? He came to my workplace. He's actually a roofer.
Sure.
Yeah, he's a roofer. He was a roofer. So like we had like a leaky ceiling at work.
Yeah.
So we got the roofers in, and so I was just like going into my office, and then I walked past him. I'm like, oh. So I'm like, how's it going? Because we actually became friends after this incident in school.
Was he racist towards you?
He was racist towards me. Me and him had
stupid. You're like 6'7".
I wasn't 6'7" in at the time where we had this incident. I was in year 7, so I was probably about 11, 12 years old.
Alright, so about 6'5" then.
No, I'm not even 6'7" now. I'm 6'5".
I tell everyone you're 6'7".
But
because I'll say, well, that was funny.
Yeah. But anyway, I can't remember. We had an argument. And he called me a black something or another.
Did you use the N-word?
No, I didn't use the N-word. He called me a black something or another. So so like we had an argument, and I think he tried to hit me with a ruler, and then I kind of blocked him.
No, that's just a normal fight, though, isn't it?
Yeah, then he called me a black something or another, so I punched him.
Well, yeah, because he's. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's the intent behind it. Though. I don't think. I mean, I think the words obviously.
He had he had glasses on. I didn't wear glasses at this point. So I punched him. His glasses went flying.
Shit.
Yeah, I didn't really connect him.
The way you just move your hand there kind of indicate they went through his head as opposed
to. Just sort of like.
Like, is it skitted off the side?
Sort of like just skinned his side of his face, his glasses went flying. It wasn't nothing major. But that's what happened between me and him. Then I told the teacher what happened, and then he got in trouble for it. I didn't get into any trouble because he's like,
even though you hit him.
Yeah, because like he's been like he was the type of person that told people go back to your country.
Oh, okay, that's not okay. You see, that's weird.
He used to tell like Portuguese people that go back to your country and stuff.
Well, why? Portuguese girls are hot.
But the thing about him,
and the blokes are just a challenge. I can see.
Don't get me wrong, he was a nice guy, but it's just that some people I feel that they're poisoned by certain people in their family.
Yeah,
and I felt like he was poisoned by his grandfather. That's what I was saying. I became friends with him years later. Right. Like this has happened in year 7, so me and him became friends in like year 11.
Are you still friends now? Or
no, we're not friends now.
Incidental.
We thought like you're friends with people in school, but you're not really friends with them outside.
They're acquaintances.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, it's an acquaintance in school. But yeah, we used to hang out in school and then hang out after that, go home on the same direction.
Oh right, so he's on your bar. Nice
but you didn't hang out like in our spare time, but like in school.
Yeah, he wasn't your best buddy, but yeah.
But we became cool like that.
Would you say that his behaviour, in his awareness of that kind of language and that rhetoric, was that improved by the incident that you had with him or not?
I don't know. I think he always had that on the line to him, but it's just that they're being poisoned. Or somebody saying, "Oh, you have the conflict." Somebody in your ear always saying this and that, and coming up with a bunch of racist stuff all constantly, and you sort of having to like. Obviously, he's going to a school that's predominantly black.
Yeah, he's kind of so he's asking for trouble. He's saying, black, and it's like, come on, mate, like really.
Yeah. He's going to a school that's predominantly black, but then like he's knowing like the difference. His family's telling him, "Oh, black people are this," but then he's like seeing like he's been friends with black people.
Isn't that xenophobia?
He's actually seeing the good. Like you're seeing both. He's seeing both sides of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of. I kind of saw for him like sort of conflicted in a way.
I think that's quite a difficult thing, though. I think, when I mean, like, it doesn't. I mean, not moving away from like just racism and the whole, but I mean, xenophobia is in Germany, because I think racism's just a form of xenophobia. I wouldn't say just, but it's depending on how far you take it. It's bullying, it's xenophobia.
Yeah.
But I think with xenophobia, which is the fear of others, it can be quite difficult. I think because I mean, for example, we weren't told by our parents or anything like that, but the general feeling in our school was if you go to Brixton, then you're going to get beaten up. Because it was a scary, inner city, scary place.
Well,
but we were like 14, 13, from Leafy Surrey. But
to be fair, at that age, because I'm the same age as you, Brixton was kind of like
it's a bit of a rough. It was a rough area. Nowadays, it's a bit gentrified.
A lot of people, a lot of mixing going on. It's a place to be right now. You can't even afford to live in Brixton at the moment. But like,
it's a pain
14, 15. I remember going Brixton at those ages, and it wasn't really.
Yeah, because I
remember almost being robbed in like JD Sports. And
Croydon
like
as well. The only time I've ever been robbed was Croydon. I don't even know if I was robbed. I was so pissed. But thank you, you bastard, for taking my phone when I really needed it. I had to go. But then again, I knocked on the only house that night that would open their door was this black family.
Yeah,
and they must have been petrified because there was like this 18-year-old kid who couldn't. I was so drunk I couldn't talk because I was on the double vodka Red Bulls at Tiger. Back when that was a thing, and
in West End.
No, in Croydon.
Oh, Croydon.
I didn't pick my battles well. I had like 14 of them. I don't think I've ever been that drunk. And I just left the club because I just thought it was a good idea. I was absolutely fucked. And tried to get home because I thought I was in Crawley, going back to sort of Red Hill area. I was fucked. And so I tried to walk north, and I was so drunk I just ended up just treading on people's flowers, trying to get them to open up the house so that I could use their phone to call my parents and just get home.
Yeah.
Because I was terrified. And I was like, lost, scared. It's like May, it's cold, it's just, horrible place. But yeah, I mean, of all the families and all the people who were there, I mean, it must be terrifying. I must have scared a lot of people. But they were really, really lovely, and I couldn't even talk. I was so drunk, and they were absolutely lovely to me, and I really do think... Yeah, I mean, they were some of the kindest people. I mean, when you're absolutely that fucked... I mean, I don't know if I'd have opened my door.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, because... Actually, no, I wouldn't. I'd be scared. I'd be one of those people who's like opening an upstairs window, one with, with like, darling, get the broom. Like, we could have a fight on our hands. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that.
So it's interesting. We had like complete different like experience growing up, because like, as you said, there's
I live in the countryside,
yeah. As I said, like white people was the minority in most of my schools I went to, and the white people that I was friends with kind of almost pretty much black.
Yeah,
like, they're black,
urbanized. It's like we've got one. I've got. I'm not going to use. I can't say that, but I can say that. One of the guys in fact, the guy I go to the gym with, he's a really top lad. And he's one of my best. I'd say he's one of my best friends, and known him for like 10 years now. I'll tell you, when you get to 30, you start realizing that everyone you know from school's in double digits. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
We go to the gym together and stuff, and he's a really, really top bloke, and. But we were going down the street in Reigate, and this other black guy walked past him, and he just nodded at him, and my mate goes, do you know him? And he goes, nah, he's just a brother, innit? Because there's so few black people in our area that they just nod at each other as a sign of solidarity. But the thing is, though, when I was living in Indonesia, I lived in an area just outside of Jakarta where there were no white people. And so whenever we saw one, usually we would get stared at a bit because, we're an anomaly. We're like sort of bigger than everybody else. We're white. And like nobody, everyone's like, bule, 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 which means foreigner, but it really means white guy. I mean, but then, and I think that also that culture is quite sort of childishly racist in a way. It's kind of actually really interesting because a lot of them, I taught a kid called Rommel, and another one called Stalin, and another one called Fuck Me, who is his name's Fachmi, and he goes, and he's like, and I'm like, I'm like, I was like, I can't remember what their names are. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of IIOs and, like all the kind of names that are really, really nice and easy to remember that have absolutely zero cultural relevance to Europe, which is a nightmare. But then I got halfway down this register, about 15 kids, and like they could all tell that it was coming, and I just didn't even notice. And I came down and I was like, I'm probably going to say this wrong, but fuck me. And this kid just sat there and goes,
fuck me?
It's fuck me. I'm like, it fucking isn't. Not in my classroom, son. Not in my classroom. Not with this excuse here. Come on, fuck me. Let's go. I absolutely loved that kid. He was great. He was like 20 or something like that, and I was only about 24. But
you know what his name means in English?
What FACHMI?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I mean he was kind of aware of the fact that every time an English teacher took a look at the register, they took that little pause. It's sort of like when like when you're at school and a teacher's taking the register and there's the Indian kid who's got like I don't know like a 6 vowel surname or no, not 6 vowels, sorry, 6. There's always that kid, not necessarily an Indian kid, but there's always a kid with sort of like a really difficult to pronounce surname. I don't know, like the Russian kids or something like that. And it's just like, and they're just trying to say it right so desperately. They take a little warm up, a little sprint. And like we had this one at uni where this we had like a Russian whose surname was incredibly long, and everyone just sort of shortened it. She shortened it. But that, I tell you what though, when the when they called out her degree and she had to do the stage thing, the woman pronounced it bang on, and we all just were like,
"Well done,
well done." I don't know if we were applauding her for getting her degree or the woman for managing the name, because I mean she was quite impressive. I don't know. It was fun. But yeah, I like that about. That's the thing though. I really like about different cultures because I mean, I think that it's a lot of. There's so much to find out. And I think that at first, when you do find yourself in a mixed environment like London, or like when you go abroad and stuff, like one of the things I've really, really loved about many of my exes is that they all come from very different cultures. I've got a couple from Indonesia, one was Indian, and it has that, and like the food is insane. And like all the different things, and it's not just that; it's the different sort of opinions and the different ways of looking at things. And at first, you're a little bit resistant because, of course, you are. It's not the way that things are. But then in your head, but then like after a little while, like when you start to, you can almost not. I wouldn't say cherry pick, but there are things that I really, really enjoy about other cultures, and I think that, and it's just so much to learn through just talking about it openly, which is something I don't think that we do enough as a society. Yeah. Is to recognise there are differences, but also that's a good thing.
That's the thing about differences, that you can be so different from people, but like you can still find something that you can get along with them.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just that people are like, oh, you're different. That means that you're dead to me.
It's exhausting.
We can't be friends. We can't be anything. Stupid. It's just like, are you crazy? Like,
it's like bullshit. Yeah. I mean, like I remember like you and I had, what was it, drinking and also I think smoking in common at some points.
Yeah.
And like I think that's how we really became good friends, was because I think there was this night where it was like shit tons of drama, and I won't go into details. Suffice to say the ambulance was called.
Well, not in this episode.
No, and but and you were just like, shall we go for a little wander and a smoke?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I could do with that actually, because I was like, little magnet for that.
Because like literally, like to be honest, like most of you guys that killed, the ones I'm still friends with, is that I've never met anybody like you guys. Like I mean,
Duran's from Hong Kong. Yeah. His dad's literally, major or something.
I literally never met like nobody like you guys, but still I'm able to get along with you guys.
Well, yeah, you're one of us, and I think that also
we grew up in completely separate, different, have a different background.
I think when you live with someone in a closed environment like a university, I think that's one of the major things that is important. There are a lot of people who, you naturally fall by the wayside, mostly because a lot of them were batshit crazy. I mean, there was the one who I mean, like one person ends up writing cunt on my door, and I don't know why.
Oh yeah, I remember that day.
That was weird.
Yeah, we was shooting.
It was like the last day.
We were shooting.
Oh no, we had that coming.
We were shooting potatoes into the car park, and then like
we should probably not admit that.
Yeah, almost hit our boyfriend's car or something.
No, we didn't nearly hit our boyfriend's car. They were just walking across and saw a potato go flying over top, and me and you been like, "Did we get him? Run!" We weren't aiming at her. Like,
she wrote "cunt" on your door in permanent marker.
Yeah, but it turns out if you use a board pen, you can get it off.
Okay.
Like permanent marker, and if you use a ball pen right over it, and then you can colour it out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I found that out. That I don't know, it took a lot of bleach. That door probably doesn't look the same. It's pretty obvious.
We got so many fines that year in uni. Like we fucked that.
No, but I think that was Jake. That was kind of weird. Like, it got to the stage where it's like, you know, like, sometimes we mess up our kitchen, but I think after a while, I started to suspect that Jake might have a thing about mess and getting a bit dirty and like down and dirty with stuff. And like, I was sitting there, I was like, because I mean, the fire extinguisher thing, that was my fault because I was bored. Yeah. No, I wasn't bored. I was just like,
I still have that video.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, it's just like me in the background looking at this fire extinguisher. I have always wanted to try one of these things at 4 a.m. and just.
So if I can, I'm gonna probably insert it into this episode. That
if we can, if there's a clip. Yeah. Like, but it's just like, it was so much fun. But. Although I tell you what, never ever set off a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, because it's one of those the dust.
The dust ones, and it just completely evacuates all the air.
Yeah, what it does, it takes all the air out the room.
Yeah, we were running out, choking and throwing up on the side.
To kill the fire
3 in the morning. Yeah. Oh my god, it was horrible.
You literally cannot breathe if you let one of those off in the room.
It's like a silt that never leaves.
Yeah, I remember being on the floor, crawling out of the room.
Yeah, I was the last one out as well. Me and Stu.
It was like 5 of us outside throwing up outside because
so funny.
Everyone
was like, sorry. It's like,
crazy.
Honest to God, I choked like a porn star. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to have to wrap it up here because it's bedtime. My name's Les Steed.
I'm Marlon White. This is Off Point at